Lab Guy here. It's been a while since I posted a video. Sorry about that. I've been busy. I purchased a new computer because the 3D printer stopped working, and it was related to my previous computers I mentioned in the last video. So the new computer has arrived. I've spent the past 5 days reloading all of my application software. I use a lot of software, and it takes a long time to download apparently. And the good news is that the 3D printer is now back online. The computer can see it and communicate with it. The previous computer stopped talking to the printer. And other problems. You would drop a file into it. It was a kind of a drag and drop interface, and nothing would happen. Previous to that, it has like a picture of the printer, and you drag your project, and an image of the model appears in that printer. But it never got past that point. So it was after the manufacturer had made a software update on their interface. So we traced it down after a couple of months of troubleshooting. Me and their customer service, which was excellent customer service. We determined that the computer was at fault. So I broke down and spent nearly $2,000 for a brand spanking new computer from the ground up. I actually paid somebody else to put it together for me this time. And I'm very pleased with it. For those who are curious, it's a 3.6 gigahertz i7 Pentium processor. 64 gigabytes of RAM, I think. Terabytes? 64 gigabytes of RAM. Solid state C drive. Windows 10 Professional. 6 terabyte secondary drive, and so on, and lots of USB 2 and USB 3 ports, wireless internet access, and all that, of course. I named the computer. I name all my computers. My old computer was the last of a long run of computers named Tonstoffel. It's the acronym for There Ain't No Such Thing as a Free Lunch. It was a tip of the hat to Robert A. Heinlein and his character Lazarus Long. For the science fiction fans out there, at least for the literate ones. So I've named the new computer Salty after a character I recently discovered, and I appreciate, and I'll leave it at that. So meet Salty now. Say hi, Salty. Hi, Salty. So that was Salty, and that's the new computer. We're up and running. I've been sitting here this evening with the new version of Corel video editor Pro, I guess you'd call it, 2020. Needless to say, none of the projects from the previous version would import. Too many broken links. When you're editing video, the video files are in various folders scattered across a couple of disk drives. The project files are in yet another folder that Corel likes to hold near and dear to its heart on the C drive. I keep all my data on the secondary drive, and so on. So trying to get the old projects to come back up was becoming problematic. So I decided to do a fresh start. The opening sequence you've seen on tonight's video is half a day's work at rebuilding my opening sequence. On the first go around of about 2 hours, I was trying to make fancy moving titles, and all of a sudden it broke. Everything looked the same on the screen. You'd push the play button and it would go click, push the play button, click, and then you'd hover over the play button. It says press to play clip or something like that, and then hold shift down to play entire clip. Clip, entire clip, I have no idea what they're talking about. Holding the shift key down, the thing would play what I had edited up to that point. Right. The first thing we did is we closed Corel Video Editor Pro, went to the folder and deleted the project called Intro Outro. It's my opening intro and the outro for the video. And deleted it, started a new project from scratch, and rebuilt it again. So at any rate, you've seen the opening sequence. It pretty much looks like the old opening sequence from the old computer. And the outro's, ooh, it's a little fancier. So anyways, enough about the video editing. I tend to get stuck in these little whirlpools of whatever you want to call it. So, people who've come here wanting to know about the NBTV project. The NBTV project has been static since the new computer situation arose. And so, in the meantime, since I'm going to build this RGB NBTV video source based on memory chips, I realized right away that I'm going to have to use a microcontroller and so on to control it. It has become a little bit involved, more relationship to the new computer, of course. I do all my schematic and circuit board design in KiCad, and of course I installed KiCad, and it's a couple of versions newer than the old KiCad. And people who have used CAD software in the past know that when you get to a version transition, you can end up losing all of your earlier files. They don't necessarily respect you in the sense that they will make upgrades to the new system that are profound and worth the money. And unfortunately, your old files are no longer compatible, or at the very least, libraries. Libraries usually become a problem. Well, the new transition to the new KiCad, it did gripe about the libraries when I loaded the projects, but it ran some sort of a filter program and went through and successfully recovered my schematic files and my circuit board files successfully. Now, I'm pretty sure that my LabGuy library, my custom library, is out the window. It's not there. I guarantee it. I'll have to figure out how to extract library parts from the schematic and save them. So, anyways, I'm rambling about the computer again. So this does relate to the NBTV color signal generator, which I'm trying to come up with a clever name. You know, like I name things funny things like Cyclops, the one-eyed monster, and Tiny Trinoscope. Goldmark 1, for instance, my project. So if you have name suggestions, leave them in the comments. And you might win a prize. You might win a double dose of my appreciation. And we'll try to come up with a funky name for the thing. I'm working on it. So in the meantime, I spent a bunch of money to buy components. So let me show you what I've collected together for the controller. I have memory chips. I'm not going to show you memory chips for the project. They look like chips. I could hold up a random chip and tell you it's a memory chip. You wouldn't know it. So anyways, I got an Arduino Mega for our primary controller. Though after I develop with this, I may switch over to a Teensy, which is a compatible microcontroller, but it's teensy, and it's actually 7 or 8 times faster than this one and has more memory. I'm not sure that the memory will be an issue because I have external memory, so it's not like I have to store anything in onboard memory. So we have a Arduino Mega. I don't know if the writing's right side up for you. Yes, it is. An Arduino Mega, a 4-line 20-character LCD display with an I2C interface, so that it only takes 3-4 wires to hook it up. I bought some fancy surplus RCA jacks that have red, green, and blue, and a yellow one for the monochrome. So this, when the generator's running, it will output monochrome NBTV, which on a color televisor will go for your motor servo, or on a monochrome televisor, that is your video signal. And then you'll have NBTV red, blue, and green. My Rain Man is freaking out. The proper sequence of colors is red, green, blue, not red, blue, green. 6 jacks, definitely 6 jacks. Okay, a rotary encoder. Well, the gravity is strong in here tonight. A rotary encoder with a push button for control. I have 2 of these. That's how you'll dial your menu selections on the LCD, and you press the button. You press the button to make your selection. Stop looking at yourself in the monitor, Rich. SD memory card holder, or actually a micro SD TF memory card holder, which will contain the this will be how you put files in and out of the flash proms on the video generator. The video generator has 3 512K flash proms, which will hold 256 color NBTV frames. You'll be able to edit the frames. I'll probably write a Windows application that in QuickBasic that lets you import pictures that you use something like Photoshop or PaintShop to pre-size them to 32 lines by 64 pixels per line, which is the format, and the lines are vertical, but the program will take care of it. You make you take any picture you have and you cut it into a 2:1 aspect ratio, a 0.5 aspect ratio, and shrink it to a 32 by 64 pixel picture, like a headshot. And then you tell my program the file, it will have a folder, and you put your files in that folder and number them. So there'd be files numbered from 0 to 255, and you number your files, and it will put them in, and I think I can make it where it'll display the mega picture of all the little pictures. And then you transfer it onto a micro SD card, and you put your micro SD card in the reader. And these things are enormous capacity, far more than a half a megabyte. And so before you load the image into the onboard memories, you'll be prompted if you want to save the images that are in the onboard memories, and they'll be written into a new file on here, or overwrite, standard file protocol stuff. And you'll be able to save that and then put your new pictures in. And so if you want to do 256 frame motion sequence, you'll be able to do that, and you'll have a bunch of those on the card, and you'll be able to load them, change them, and play them on the generator into your mechanical TV, and then you will have hopefully an under $200 project. I'm trying to keep this thing as low cost as possible. Some of the chips I'm speccing are kind of obsolete, so I will hunt around for a one-time purchase of enough of them, because I think that if this project is successful and in the $100 price range, I will probably sell 10 or 20 kits at best. And in the $200 price range, I'll be lucky to sell 5. Certainly not a money-making operation. But those are the thoughts. I don't want to call them plans. That's the path I'm following to get there. So that is essentially where we're going. Just a note, these are I2C parallel port chips that will be part of the Arduino interface to control the flash memories. So speaking of that, as the project goes along, I'm no expert on programming flash memories. I've been reading the data sheet and it looks straightforward enough. And so I will create an interface that hooks to the Arduino as simply as possible and interfaces to the memory chips. And it will be able to erase a block. A block is 64 kilobytes, which is 32 pictures. So that you don't have to erase the entire flash memory, but it's probably better if you do. They're rated for 100,000 erase write cycles. And believe me, if you're kind of a hacker type person and you like to change things a lot, you can run through them. But they will be socketed. So if you wear the chips out, you can get 3 new ones and pop right in there and keep going. I don't think these chips are impossible to get. They're still out there. I forget the number of them. Anyways, in a future video we'll talk about those in more detail. So at any rate, that's the status of that project at this time, and so onward and upward. The new computer is like bringing a new baby into the house. It requires a lot of care and feeding for the first few days before you can start ignoring it properly. Lock it in the closet. That's a joke. And if you thought that was serious, shame on you. So anyways, this is not a well thought out video, so you're welcome. So that should bring you up to date and feed your hunger for a video from Video Lab Guy, and get you through the next week or so. So until next time, Lab Guy out.